Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 4, and today we're taking a look at the 2018 Italdesign Zerouno. Now this was produced by styling house Italdesign Zerouno, and this coupe version was introduced in 2017 at the Geneva Motor Show with a limited production run of 5 units, each of which came in at around $1.7 million, making it easily one of the most expensive cars ever made. And the year after, a roadster version was introduced called the Giuata, that was also limited to only 5 units. Now this uses a modular carbon fibre and aluminium chassis, with bodywork also made out of carbon fibre, and it shares the same engine, transmission and 4-wheel drive system as the Lamborghini Huracán, as well as the same engine as the Audi R8, because both the Lamborghini Huracán and the Audi R8 share the same engine. And this is basically a more extreme, slightly more track-focused version of the Lamborghini Huracán, while also having more interesting bodywork and styling. Though I have to say, even though it is more interesting and it's a little bit more extreme than a Lamborghini Huracán, or should I say a lot more extreme when you look at all the aerodynamic tweaks it's got to it, I can't say that I like the overall design, because when Lamborghini do make a more extreme car, like the like an Aventador with the I think the 740 it is, which has 740 horsepower, they make it more extreme with more spoilers, splitters and the like, but it's still a good looking car. It doesn't look over designed and really rather pointlessly extreme like this one. Really not a fan of it at all. But like I said, it is more interesting than a Huracán, which quite frankly is really rather boring in a lot of ways in terms of its looks. It's boring in a nice way, but it's still boring, whereas this isn't boring, but it's not something I'm a particular fan of. But if you strip away the bodywork, you'll see that there is really not much to this car. You can see there's not much there, and when you get the back cover off to look at the engine, you'll see again there's not very much to this car at all. It's very stripped down, and like I said, it shares the same engine as a Lamborghini Huracán, so that's a 5.2 litre V10 engine producing 602 horsepower and 413 pounds-feet of torque. And with all that carbon fibre and aluminium, it only weighs 3,362 pounds, which isn't all that much again, especially in comparison to other mid-engined supercars like this. So fairly lightweight, and it at least will get plenty of attention on the road, because there's really nothing that looks quite like this. And interior wise it's fairly decent as well, though you do have ordinary doors, which is a big surprise, because Lamborghinis are well known for their scissor ones. But fairly decent interior. Again, nothing spectacular, but everything is there that you need. But there is, for my liking, a fair few too many buttons on the steering wheel, kind of nicking from Ferrari there with that kind of thing. But it's an overall decent car in terms of styling. Again, nothing I'm not a fan of, but it's got a lot of power. It's got that all-wheel drive system. It's also got the 7-speed double clutch gearbox, which also the Huracán has. And that all-wheel drive system and the gearbox is obviously going to be able to deal with all that power. But the big difference between this and the Huracán is the fact that this handles really rather well. Far better, in fact, because like I said, it is somewhat track orientated, but also easily able to go on the road. So let's get out onto the open road and see just what it can do. So having the same engine, gearbox and all-wheel drive system as the Huracán means this is virtually similar to that in terms of performance and acceleration, as this will do 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, 0 to 100 in 6.250 seconds, and going to a top speed of 211 miles an hour, which is pretty much the same as the Lamborghini Huracán as well as the Audi R8. But like I said, the big difference between this and a Huracán and an Audi R8, outside of the looks, is the handling, because this car handles like far better than both of those cars, quite frankly, and it brakes better as well. And that means that you get to use more of that power more of the time, whereas with a Lamborghini or an Audi R8 there is hints of understeer here and there, and it doesn't feel quite as sharp. Neither of them could feel quite as sharp as this, and that means you can have plenty of confidence in the amount of power that you've got to use, and it means that you can have a lot of fun with it as well. Granted, you really highly unlikely to ever see one of these cars on the open road, and you certainly ain't going to be able to buy one, because like I said, there were only 5 of these made and they sold fairly quickly. And yeah, pretty sure the Roadsters sold fairly quickly as well. Probably should, pretty sure they're going to be even more expensive, because convertible versions of normal coupes usually are. But nonetheless, yeah, it is a cracking car in terms of, you know, driving ability. And it's still got that really rather nice sounding V10 engine as well, which thankfully doesn't have any turbochargers on it to sap some of that noise away. But considering the expense of this car, considering, you know, the length they've gone to in terms of, you know, the bodywork and the like, I would have expected a bit more in terms of performance. It doesn't make any sense to me to make a car look like this, cost as much as this does, to not have any more horsepower than the cars that it's based on or shares a lot of the same DNA with. Really does not make any sense to me whatsoever. So yeah, you're basically spending a lot more on a slightly reworked Lamborghini Huracán, really. Now, like I said, it is better in terms of handling and braking than a Huracán, but at the end of the day, how often are you going to be able to push a Huracán to the limit where it would, you know, be worse than this on the open road? You really aren't. And I doubt very many people take their Lamborghini Huracans on the track, and yeah, I imagine very few people will take one of these on the track as well, considering how costly it is and how rare it is. So yeah, it's a little bit on the pointless side, in all honesty, but it is at least a fun car to drive here. But considering the kind of cars Italdesign have designed before, I mean, you're talking about that beautiful cars like the Alfa Romeo Brera, the Lotus Esprit, the Alfa Romeo 159, and, you know, they've made, you know, also the Maserati Quattroporte, Maserati Merak. They've made beautiful cars before. I don't see why they couldn't have done that with this, because then at least it would have been worth having it over a Lamborghini Huracán otherwise, because, you know, it doesn't have any extra power over the Huracán, it doesn't have a different gearbox, doesn't have different, you know, a driving layout. Yeah, it handles better and brakes better, but that's pretty much it that it has over the Huracán. So why not make it beautiful if you're not going to improve it in terms of horsepower and acceleration and top speed? Just, yeah, that's my big problem with it. Thankfully though, this isn't the only car we're going to be getting in the Forza Festival playlist throughout the next month or so, because thankfully we're getting several new Porsches to the game. I'll show you what we're going to be getting and hopefully reviewing in the future, because yeah, I am excited about several of them, to be honest. We're going to be eventually hopefully taking a look at the Porsche 917 LH, which is basically a longer version of the Pig version, the Pink Pig one that came out a year later, but I'm still looking forward to seeing the differences between it in terms of performance. And then in the next season we've got, which I'm really looking forward to, the Porsche 356 SL, which is basically Porsche's first ever racing car. As you can see, it's basically a 356 but with extra aerodynamic tweaks. Not sure if it's got more power or a bigger engine, but yeah, still looking forward to trying that, because I really do like the 356. And then we've also got the 911 GT3 RS from 2019. Again, GT3s have been usually pretty good, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what the latest version can do. And then in winter, we're getting to have a look at the brand new Macan Turbo. Not a massive fan of the Macan that we already have on this game or in previous Forza games, but I am looking forward to seeing if they've made any improvements with this version. So yeah, looking forward to that. And finally, in spring, we are getting to take a... That's the Pig I was on about, by the way, the Pink Pig. The other 917, it's shorter than the other one, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the differences. And yeah, in spring, we're getting to take a look at the 718 GTS, which is basically a homage to older Porsches, which had smaller engines than their competitors, but were able to keep up because they were lightweight and quite quick. So unlike the standard Cayman, it has a flat 4 turbocharged engine rather than a flat 6. But from what I've seen and heard, it does look like a really rather good car, even though they haven't improved the looks at all. So yeah, plenty of other cars to look forward to in the next few weeks. which, yeah, I'm looking forward to trying out. This isn't a bad start to the festival playlist by any means, but it's just not a car that really speaks to me. I'm sure there will be plenty of people that will love the hell out of it because it's, you know, a 200 man hour plus supercar that is really rather quick and has a large engine. But yeah, I just think it's not different enough to a Huracan to justify the price, the rarity, and yeah, the looks that go with it. So yeah, not for me, but I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there that like it, and that's fine by me, quite frankly. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.